Welcome to the One Deal Millionaire podcast, where we don't just bounce properties, we flip mindsets. I'm JD Allen, Marine Corps veteran, engineering leader, and your multifamily investment mentor. If you're stuck chasing small gains, we're here to change the game. Each week, we dive into strategies to bounce your way to your first million. No fluff, no hype, just real talk, real deals, and real momentum. So have you ever looked at someone with 50 doors or 100 units and it's cash flowing like crazy, and then think, man, they must have had it all together from day one. Now let me tell you right now, they didn't, and neither did I, and neither will you. Because the biggest dream killer in real estate isn't bad deals, bad timing, or bad credit. It's waiting to be perfect. You think you're being smart, being prepared, being strategic, but what you're really doing is putting your dreams on a shelf labeled someday when I'm finally ready. And that someday, it's never coming because there's always one more book to read, one more podcast to listen to, or one more reason to hesitate. Perfection is the enemy of momentum. Waiting to feel ready is how most people lose. And that's why today we're blowing up that mindset. Now I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful ways to start ugly. Not someday, not next month, but right now. But you got to wait till the end to hear it. And these are the exact shifts that help me escape analysis paralysis, stop comparing others, and step into real ownership before I had it all figured out. So if you've been stuck in your own head, this episode is your wake-up call. Now let's stop chasing perfect, let's start building progress, and let's break down how you can start ugly and finish strong. Let's bounce. Let me say it plain. You will never feel ready. Not for your first deal, not for your second, not even for your biggest win. You're not supposed to feel ready. That's the myth, and that's the trap. Think about the biggest moments in your life. That first job, the first kid, your first real, I can't believe I'm doing this risk. Were you fully ready? No, you were terrified, but you moved anyway, and that is where confidence is born. Confidence doesn't show up before the action. It is a byproduct of the action. Now we have this backwards because most people, they say, I'll start when I feel more confident or I'll buy it once I learn more. But the fear doesn't leave until you actually move. Clarity comes through action. Certainty comes through doing. Now here's the kicker. The longer you wait to feel ready, the harder it gets to move. That waiting, it becomes the identity. You're not waiting to invest, you're training yourself to hesitate. You are reinforcing the belief that action is scary and perfection is required. Let me break that lie right now. You do not need a perfect plan, a full team, every book read, or even a 6-figure bank account. What you need is courage, you need curiosity, and you need a willingness to look a little messy while you're learning. Now, I've seen investors raise money while terrified, and I've seen moms with 0 real estate background close on 6 units. And I've seen broke college kids negotiate seller finance deals because they weren't afraid to ask the questions. Were they ready? No. But they were available to start ugly and build that confidence on the way. So here's the challenge. Stop asking if you're ready. Ask if you're willing. Because if you are, you'll learn what 95% of people never do. Readiness is a feeling. Momentum is a decision. Now let's get real for a second. What does starting ugly actually look like? Because it's not just some motivational poster that you're going to see up on your wall. It's what happens when you choose progress over polish and action over approval. It looks like walking into your first property tour with a notepad and no clue what you're actually taking notes on. It looks like opening up that first spreadsheet on Google and asking, what does NOI mean? It's running your first numbers and realizing you forgot to include taxes, insurance, and vacancy. It's calling the seller and stumbling through your pitch. Or maybe sending a broker a lowball LOI because it's all you can afford. And then lying awake at night wondering if you ruined the relationship. It's getting on a Zoom call with an investor and hoping they don't ask a question you don't already know the answer to. And when they do, it's saying, "That's a great question. Let me follow up with you on that." It's not weakness. That is leadership in training. Starting ugly looks like creating your pitch deck before you have a deal, or talking to lenders before your credit is perfect, or walking properties you can't afford yet. Learning the lingo while you're in the game. You don't have to fake it, you just have to face it. Because this isn't about pretending to be something that you're not. It's about showing up anyway, being in the room, even when you feel like the dumbest person in there. And let me tell you something. You're not the dumbest person in the room. You are the bravest. Because everyone else is waiting to feel smart and you're getting experience. And while everyone else is waiting to feel confident, you're building competence. And while everyone else is watching YouTube videos, you're out there actually creating your own. That's what starting ugly actually looks like. It's the movement. It's the facing of fears. It looks like showing up even when your inner critic is screaming. And it looks like early stages of every investor you've ever admired, just before they become unstoppable. Now let me tell you about my first deal. Not the one you see on Instagram with a fancy kitchen and $400 cash flow per door. I'm talking about the one that actually taught me what this business is all about. Because here's the truth. Your first deal won't make you rich. It makes you ready. Now, I remember walking that property and thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing. The foundation was uneven. The roof needed patching. The tenants weren't exactly thrilled that we were walking through. But I saw something in it, not just in the potential of the building, but the potential inside of me, if I had just the guts to say yes. I didn't have the perfect rehab budget, and I didn't know how to underwrite like a pro. And the truth is, I underestimated almost everything. The renovations ran over. The first contractor actually ghosted me, and one of the units stayed vacant for much longer than I had expected. And I questioned myself a lot. But you know what else happened? I learned. I learned how to find the comps, how to talk to those angry tenants, how to negotiate down those bids, and I also learned that I could do those hard things. Now that deal didn't look good on a spreadsheet, but it looked great in my soul. Because when it was all said and done, I didn't just have a building, I had a belief, and that belief, that's what made deal number 2 much, much easier. And then deal number 5 was possible, and deal number 15 was automatic. Because your first deal doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. It needs to be something you step into while everyone else is still setting out. So don't wait for clean or polished, because the magic is in the mess. And the investor you want to become is forged in your very first, very, very ugly deal. Now let's talk about the real enemy. Not the interest rates and not the market. And it's not the lack of deals or bad timing. It's the quiet lies you've been telling yourself and maybe didn't even realize. This is the one that eats people alive. And I get it. No one wants to feel small, and no one wants to ask questions or get laughed at or mess up publicly. But here's the truth. Every master looked like a beginner one time. That big time investor you follow, they fumbled through their first call. And they miscalculated and they got laughed at. And then guess what? They got the last laugh. Now you can look polished and stay broke, or look messy and build wealth. It's all up to you to choose. Now lie number 2, I need more money before I start. This one's sneaky. It feels logical, but money isn't your problem. Creativity is. You can partner, pitch, raise, structure. You can ask the seller to help you finance. The money does exist. It's just not all in your bank account yet. And if you let lack of cash be your excuse, you will always find a reason to stand still. Lie number 3, I don't know enough. Now here's a truth bomb. No one knows enough before their first deal. You learn by doing. Want to know how I figured out renovation budgets? By messing up. Want to know how I learned what a good lease looks like? By dealing with a really bad one. You can read books, watch videos, take courses, but nothing replaces what the streets teach you. Knowledge is power, yes, but action is what gives that power direction. You don't need to be an expert, you just got to be engaged. Lie number 4, it's not the right time. Really? Really? When is the right time? When are rates low and when is inventory high and when is life calm and the skies are all blue? There will always be a reason to wait, and there's never going to be a perfect market. You think the winners timed it perfectly? No, they got in and they figured it out from the inside out. Because while you're waiting for the wave, somebody else is already paddling. And lie number 5, I'm just not being realistic. Yeah, the ultimate disguise for fear. I'm not scared, I'm just being realistic. I'm not playing it small, I'm just being practical. But realizing when rooted in fear is just doubt wearing a suit. Dreams don't die from being too big. They die from being shrunk down into something acceptable. So let me challenge you here. What if your realism is just fear with a better brand? These lies, they don't shout, they whisper. And if you don't challenge them, they become your identity. But here's the good news. You can kill a lie with one thing, the truth. And the truth is, you're more ready than you think. You're more capable than you feel, and you are not alone. Every investor who made it started right where you are. So instead of waiting for the lies to disappear, move anyway. And let your courage be louder than your fear. So let's talk about what comes next. Because now that you've called out the lies, you need something stronger to replace them. And this is where the bounce mindset comes in. This is the internal framework I teach to beginners, not just to close their first deal, but to build a life and identity as a real investor. The bounce mindset starts with one idea. Growth beats perfection every single time. Bounce thinkers don't wait to get ready. They build while they move. They understand that deals might fall through, contractors might ghost you, and they might lose money on a learning curve or two. But they also know this. Every deal is data, every misstep is momentum, and every challenge is a chance to upgrade. Now here are 3 core beliefs you need to install today if you want to win. Number 1, I am the kind of person who figures it out. Not the person who waits, not the person who needs hand-holding. You are someone who learns in motion. Number 2, obstacles are part of the process. If you expect it to be easy, you'll quit. If you expect it to stretch you, you'll grow. Bounce thinkers don't avoid problems, they develop the playbooks. Number 3, I don't need to feel confident to take action. This one is huge. You don't wait to feel ready. You move scared and let confidence catch up. That's the bounce mindset in action. And if you're sitting there thinking, I've never thought like this before, that's okay. You can install this mindset today. It starts by catching your internal language. Every time you hear, I can't do that, say, I can learn it. I've never done this before, say, exactly, and that's why I must. You start catching the fixed mindset and bouncing it into something better. The bounce mindset isn't about pretending to be fearless. It's about being willing to learn, to be wrong, to move forward through the mud, because what's on the other side is worth it. This is the foundation. Everything else, deals, cash flow, passive income, it grows from this soil. So install it, water it, protect it, because your mind is your first investment. All right, you've been listening, you've nodded along, maybe even said to yourself, dang, this is exactly where I've been stuck. Now what? What do you actually do with all this? Here's how you start ugly today, just as I promised in the beginning. Step 1, pick one market. Not 5, not 10, 1. Research the rents. Look at deals on LoopNet or Crexy. Drive the neighborhoods. Pick one place to focus your attention because clarity crushes overwhelm. Step 2, talk to someone. One seller, one agent, one investor. You don't need to sound like a pro, just start the conversation. Hey, I'm getting into multifamily. Mind if I ask you a few questions? When you start speaking it, you start becoming it. Step 3, run numbers on a deal. Badly. Yeah, badly. It's okay. Pull something off Zillow. Estimate the rents, the expenses, and try to find an NOI and cap rate. You won't get it all right. And that's not the goal. The goal is to engage. Step 4, write your why down. On paper, not just in your head. Why do you want to do this? What happens if you don't start now? Read it every morning this week. You're building belief before the bank account catches up. And step 5, tell someone what you're doing. Text a friend, post it online, say it out loud. Because when you speak it, it becomes real. And the moment you make it real is the moment you've already started. So no, you're not too late. You're not underqualified and you're not stuck. You're just early in the process. And now you've got a map. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You just need a little bounce and a willingness to start ugly. That's it for today's episode of the One Deal Millionaire podcast. If you got value from this, share it with a friend who's ready to stop playing small. And remember, wealth isn't built by watching, it's built by moving. So take what you learned, apply it, and keep the velocity of money working in your favor. Subscribe, leave a review, and stay in the loop at thebouncemethod.com. And until next time, keep bouncing forward.